If you could wish for anything, what would it be? Baseball things. I meant baseball things, but it's cool that you want a pony, I guess. In today's game, if hitters could wish for anything, it'd be knowing what pitch is coming. It's the most valuable information out there, and teams will do nearly anything for it. We've always known about the Astros and their, we'll call them unconventional methods of getting the signs. But now, in 2025, it's everywhere. The Yankees are signaling from second base. The Red Sox have base coaches roaming around and signaling to hitters. And also have a cool iPad that they probably weren't supposed to show on TV. But what if it was easy? What if the hitter knew what pitch was coming and they didn't need iPad time to find out? Across baseball in 2024, 50% of pitches were in the zone. 56% of pitches were fastballs or fastball variants. So your four-seamers, your sinkers, or your cutters. And 31% of pitches were fastballs in the zone. But in 3-0 counts, the zone rate jumps from 50% to 64%. And the fastball rate, it jumps from 56% to an ungodly 95%. 95%. On top of that, the zone fastball rate nearly doubles, going from 31% to 61%. So in 3-0 counts, the league knows what's coming, but the league doesn't swing. In 2025, we're all the way down to an 8.2% swing rate on 3-0, and we've seen a steady decline since 2021. But obviously, this makes perfect sense. In a 3-0 count, the hitter has all the leverage. If you stood with the bat on your shoulder and took 3 pitches, you'd walk 77% of the time. If you took the bat off your shoulder and put a ball in play, you'd get a hit just 33% of the time. Why would I swing at a pitch and chase this 33% when I don't have to? Now, to a keen observer, it appears as though I've played myself. The 3-0 take looks to be the optimal choice. And watching these 2 minutes back, I kind of agree with past me. Although past me did get a little sassy with the whole I don't have to thing, and I don't really appreciate that, but this is what keeps me up at night. I mean, there's multiple things, but if it's cool, we're just going to talk about this one for now. Hitters slug .568 on fastballs in the zone. And on 3-0 fastballs in the zone, hitters slug .831. How much slug are hitters leaving on the table by taking 3-0? And if a player were willing to swing 3-0 and put more balls in play instead of walking, could he outslug the dip in on-base percentage and come out with a higher OPS? And how in the world could we find out? This is Corbin Carroll. In 2024, Corbin Carroll saw 46 3-0 pitches. Of those 46 pitches, 27 of them were in the zone. And of the 27 3-0 pitches in the zone, 26 of them were fastballs. So 46 pitches, 27 strikes, 26 fastball strikes, 1 swing. This is Corbin Carroll 2.0. We don't live in a simulation, I hope. But this Corbin Carroll does. This Corbin Carroll doesn't know the count exists. So if he sees a pitch he likes, he'll swing. I know he looks the same as the original, and I'm sorry, I know that might get confusing, but really, it's just a testament to how far cloning has come over the years, so blame science. Here's how the simulation works. Most people think of pitches as balls or strikes, but there's a problem with that. This is a strike, but so is this. Which one would you rather hit? And this is a ball, but so is this. Which one is easier to take? So instead of the strike zone, let's use the attack zones. There are 4 attack zones. First is the heart zone. These are the best pitches to hit. Corbin Carroll slugs .669 on heart zone pitches. A name so cool it's really a shame it's used for baseball. The shadow zone makes up the edges of the strike zone. These pitches can be balls or strikes. When Carroll swings at these pitches, he slugs .417. Pitches off the plate make up the chase zone. Carroll doesn't like to swing at these pitches, but when he does, he slugs .429. Pitches that aren't even remotely close land in the waste zone. Corbin Carroll only swung at 5 of these all year, and it really stinks for him that those are the ones that I'm deciding to show you. I was just curious and looked to see if there were any recorded pitches hit into play that were literally over the batter's head. And I don't know what I was doing on April 14th, 2017. I guess I was asleep the whole day. But Savant tells me that Marcus Semien once hit a ball that was 9.6 feet above the plate. Very conveniently, when you click on the video for this pitch, Savant doesn't even show it. It just taunts me with the 2017 Astros, which is fitting, I guess. So let's do an example. On April 21st, Corbin Carroll takes this 3-0 pitch in the heart zone. But Corbin Carroll 2.0 doesn't know the count's 3-0. So he treats this pitch just like any other heart zone pitch. We'll generate a random number, and based on his heart zone tendencies, we'll assign each random number a result. For this pitch, simulation says 55, which means Corbin Carroll singles. But on this pitch, on May 8th, the simulation says foul ball. Now the count's 3-1. Now what? If the count's 3-1, we'll simulate from the pool of all of Carroll's 3-1 plate appearances. Notably, Corbin Carroll is a terrible 3-1 hitter with a 36 split OPS plus, meaning he is 64% below league average in 3-1 counts. Yeah, I've never heard of split OPS plus either. So with a new table based on his 3-1 tendencies, we'll grab another random number to see how this plate appearance ends. Simulation says walk. Okay, now that we know how it works, let's simulate. Oh my God, did it break? Corbin Carroll had an OPS of 749 in 2024. In 46 plate appearances where the count was 3-0, Carroll had an OPS of 962. Corbin Carroll 2.0, 1.401, which brings his season OPS to 763. But this is only one simulation. If we want the real picture, we should do as many simulations as we can. Now, when Dr. Strange looked at the 14 gazillion scenarios, he wasn't limited by the powers of Microsoft Excel. Unless that's what that green stuff is. Imagine the movie ends with Thanos snapping his fingers and getting a ref error. There's a problem with his finger snap. Anyway, when I got to 1,600 simulations, the fan started going crazy and the computer got really hot. So I went up one by one. And at 1,621, Michael Bay actually tried to hire me. He tried to explain to me that he's not actually related to Jason Bay and he can't hurt me anymore. But I don't believe him. On average, Corbin Carroll 2.0 ends the year with an OPS of 744. And if you look at the distribution, Carroll only beats his 749 OPS 27% of the time. So can you outslug the dip in on-base percentage? No. So you've noticed the video isn't over. Yeah, the data proved me wrong, but am I really going to lose to a bunch of data? I will again later, don't worry. Forget OPS. What if we look at runs batted in? If Corbin Carroll is swinging at more 3-0 pitches, and thus putting more 3-0 pitches in play, surely he should drive in more runs. Corbin Carroll drove in 74 runs in 2024. But assuming a runner on second scores 50% of the time on a single, and runner on first scores 40% of the time on a double, Corbin Carroll 2.0 ends the year with 76 runs batted in. And he beats his year-end total in 74% of the simulations. So OPS says take. RBI says swing if you like it. But this is all on a player level. What does this mean for the Arizona Diamondbacks? Do you remember how many games the Arizona Diamondbacks missed the playoffs by in 2024? It was 0. Yes, the Arizona Diamondbacks missed the playoffs on a tiebreaker. If Corbin Carroll was willing to swing 3-0, would the Diamondbacks have made the playoffs? All ideas are awesome until you have to actually sit down and do them. Because this is a lot more complicated than I thought. Because it's not just a matter of accounting for the 3-0 plate appearances where Corbin Carroll has the chance to win the game, of which there are 5, or tie the game, of which there are 2. But what about the plate appearances where Corbin Carroll doesn't swing 3-0, reaches base, and then scores the deciding run? Well, Corbin Carroll 2.0 might swing 3-0 and get himself out. And if he's not on base to score that run, well, the Diamondbacks might lose. This happens 3 times. Let's work through this one. On August 2nd, Corbin Carroll triples and scores, what ends up being the deciding run. So you might think Corbin Carroll 2.0 needs to triple or homer to preserve the win, but luckily, Ketel Marte homers right behind him. And if that didn't happen, Jock Peterson homers behind him. And if that didn't happen, Josh Bell homers behind him. It's probably this moment when Luis Ortiz realizes that hammering first pitch ball at plus 120 is a lot easier than actually pitching. I mean, who's swinging at that? Maybe Marcus Semien, actually. So if Corbin Carroll reaches base, he scores on the Marte homer, and the world remains the same as we know it. It appears the world has changed. So the game is now tied because Carroll doesn't score that run. So we'll simulate using the DBacks 2024 winning percentage of 549. Simulation says, cool. I'm afraid if we keep going, they might get the number 1 overall pick and trade it for Shelby Miller. Simulation says the DBacks salvage the other 2 potential losses. So we're down to 88 wins. Simulating the games where the DBacks lost and Carroll had the chance to tie the score, simulation says no luck. So 2 games back, 5 chances to win. Can he do it? Against the Cubs, needing a homer to win the game, simulation says not quite. Against the Giants, a double ties it, a homer wins it, simulation says, yeah, no thanks. Against the Pirates, again, a single ties the game, simulation says yes. And the win, 89 wins, 2 games left. A homer can win this game against the Dodgers, simulation says no. So it comes down to this. Against the Orioles with the bases loaded. Corbin Carroll had a sac fly in this plate appearance, but if he can drive in 2 on this 3-0 pitch, this game doesn't go to extras. The D-backs win. Simulation says the Diamondbacks are going to the playoffs. Now, I know how this video ends. So if you are a Diamondbacks fan, I strongly recommend you just close out of this video. Don't worry about the rest of this. Go celebrate. I don't actually know what you guys do for fun. Go try to fill in the Grand Canyon. Okay, now that only the Drew Jones haters are here, let's continue. The D-backs only make the playoffs 15% of the time. So what's the flaw in taking 3-0? Well, there isn't one. The simulation agrees, but if you guys know anything about time travel, if you change one thing, you change everything. So I'm not going to give the simulation any significant statistical significance. Bars. That said, there's a time and a place for a 3-0 swing, and I think we should see more. A runner on third and less than 2 out. When you need a ball in play, 23% swing rate. When the tying run is on base in the 7th inning or later, 14% swing rate. Bottom of the 9th or later, winning run on base. When it doesn't matter if you walk because your run doesn't matter, 0 swings on 19 chances. And why 3-0 and not 3-1? In a 3-0 count, a hitter is near guaranteed to see a fastball. In 3-0 counts, a hitter knows a fastball's coming. Why take an in-zone fastball and pass the baton to the next guy when the next guy's coming up looking for an in-zone fastball?